I felt like my head was spinning. I couldn't concentrate. I kept having panic attacks, going hot and cold and sweating, and I just kept bursting into tears.
Last week, the darkest moments of Lucy's teenage years played out with the publication of a report into child sex exploitation in Manchester. It found both police and social workers knew children were suffering the most profound abuse, but did not protect them.
It's been horrible. It was the specific detail in the report that really freaked me out.
Lucy is not her real name. She was just 15 years old when she was lured to house parties in Manchester by groups of adult men with the promise of free drugs or alcohol. She contacted Newsnight after hearing victim accounts that were painfully familiar.
So they would take us to these parties and give us what they said was cannabis, but it wasn't. It was heroin. They'd try and get us so out of it that we wouldn't put up a fight when they'd try and touch us. I put up more of a fight than my friend. She honestly thought she was in a relationship with those people. I was more cynical, but that just meant that they would ply me with more drugs.
She told us cars would pull up outside her children's home like taxis and take her away. Staff did nothing to step in.
The men would try and gang rape me. They would share me, and if I didn't, they'd tell me they were going to leave me on the side of the road, or they would kill me, or they could do what they wanted with me anyway, because no one would ever believe me. And sadly, they were right.
Lucy had frequent contact with junior police officers. She says they knew what was happening to her, but did nothing to stop it. Instead, she said they blamed her.
One of them held me around the throat and he called me a prostitute. He said, "You know what you're doing? You're hanging out with these men, you're deciding to do it," which isn't even true. And he said, "Oh, we've had enough of you. We're here because we have to be. You're a prostitute. You're going to be a prostitute for the rest of your life."
Greater Manchester Police told us they have no record of complaints made in Lucy's case, but said they do not tolerate the behaviour she describes and urged anyone with information to get in touch. Operation Augusta identified dozens of potential victims and at least 97 suspects, but very few faced justice. The operation was shut down in 2005 after resources were withdrawn. Last week's review, commissioned by Mayor Andy Burnham, sought to get to the truth of what went wrong.
Good morning, everybody.
But according to the report, 4 officers did not make themselves available for interview and instead provided a written response. Newsnight has identified the officers described in the report as key personnel. Dave Thompson, then Divisional Commander, Dave Jones, Head of CID, Tony Cook, a Senior Investigating Officer, and Steve Haywood, who is Head of Public Protection.
I find that very disappointing that people in senior positions wouldn't cooperate fully with an inquiry of this kind. The reason why I set it up was to establish the full truth, however difficult, to get the full story out there.
Under the rules, these officers were not compelled to speak to the inquiry, but Andy Burnham wants the law to change.
Because one of the things that would do is place a duty of candour on public servants, and it would be my hope that such a law would require people to take part in an inquiry of this kind and not be able to refuse.
We wrote to all 4 officers. Dave Thompson, now Chief Constable at West Midlands Police, told us at no point did he say he would not take part. Rather, he wanted to have the full details before he responded. He said he provided a written response on matters within his knowledge. Dave Jones, who went on to become Chief Constable at North Yorkshire Police, now retired, received our letter, we're told, but did not respond. Tony Cook, now Head of Operations at the National Crime Agency's Child Protection Command, told us he cooperated fully with the review team and provided comprehensive and detailed information. He said the report recognised he was not involved in the decision to close the investigation. Steve Haywood went on to become Assistant Chief Constable of GMP. He has since retired. We wrote to him via the press office, but were told he did not want to receive our letter. But that's not good enough for Lucy.
You can't opt out of being a police officer, right? Like I can't opt out of being a victim. I think it's absolutely disgusting. I mean, why bother being a police officer in the first place?
Newsnight has learned that since the publication of the report, victims of other gangs have come forward and the names of perpetrators beyond Operation Augusta have been handed to police.
I feel like somebody is sitting on my chest, and I don't think that feeling is going to go away. And I wonder if the council and the police feel the same way. Do they have that feeling on their chest? Do I think anything will change in the cold light of day? No, I don't. I hope it will.